Hello and welcome to Sports Talk, a wrap-up of the winter sports season at East Brunswick High School. Hi, I'm Ken Saroka, and I'm joined in studio by Chris Yannazzo, Supervisor of Athletics for the East Brunswick Public Schools. We were supposed to do this show a couple of weeks ago, and obviously a couple of things went wrong, and then, of course, the weather came in. But now I think we can really say that winter is over.
Let's hope so. As we start that spring season now, and our teams have been trying out since March 1st, and we're getting ready to start. It's time to go.
Time to go, but like I said, we got to clean this up first. We got to clean the winter sports season up, and I guess for you, from a point of view of facilities, everything's indoors, lots of stuff going on, multiple events perhaps at the same time in the same building. Can you talk to us a little bit about how crazy that is for you when you're all compacted inside?
Sure. So a lot of our sports, like you said, are inside. Our cheerleaders, both basketball teams, our wrestling team, our track team is in the building, and then we have some off-site facilities as well. Our bowlers go off to either Majestic or Bolero or Woodbridge Lanes. Our swimmers are off to Middlesex County College, so we have buses going everywhere. Weather is always an issue. Thankfully, it really wasn't this winter, but it does get a little bit hectic. And we thank the parents for their flexibility and our trainers for keeping our kids healthy and ready to go, so we can get through this winter season and move on to the nice weather and into the spring.
And we'll start with the basketball teams here, as we usually do here. Start first with the boys basketball team here, under Coach Mark Mataseski. A rather tough year for the Bears, record-wise, 9-15. But did we see elements here that could come together and support a really good team for next year?
Absolutely. We play in one of the toughest divisions, which is the Red Division. And we're battling day in and day out with no rest. So that 9-15 record does not correlate into how well we played this season. We had a lot of bright spots, beating some good teams at their place. We had some great crowds in the Bear Den. We have supporters all the time, and it's great. It's just boys basketball, girls basketball bring out a great crowd. It really brings some good school spirit. So I know the kids really love it, and they play hard every time that they're out there. As you're talking about, teams for the future, our JV team won the JV GMC tournament that we host, which was an exciting day. All the varsity boys were there cheering everybody on, so it was a great atmosphere. And like you said, we're looking strong for the future. We had some young guys in the lineup. We had some senior leadership that really took over and taught these guys some things they need to know about playing in the Red Division. And some of those seniors, don't want to miss them, is Yukar Shuwati, Kelvin Chen, Brendan Coyne, and Travis Cumber, who was our All-Red Division member, Christian Kwan, and Tucker Nevin. So our young guys learned a lot from those guys who they played hard day in and day out until their season unfortunately came to an end, losing a tough game in the GMCs to St. Joe's, who were the eventual winners. So it showed that we could beat anybody at any day.
Also, what I've noticed with our sports teams is that a lot of them have adopted a particular cause. During the fall, it's the breast cancer awareness during the month of October, with a couple of teams, the volleyball team doing that, the football team doing some awareness there. But the boys basketball team has adopted MC Foods.
Yeah, so for the holidays, boys basketball steam-headed the MC Foods Drive with girls basketball and cheerleading and all of our fans and our away fans to kind of bring as much as they could in right before the holidays so we could donate to give to less fortunate families in East Brunswick or around Middlesex County. So it's really nice that our booster clubs get involved with charitable things for our kids giving back.
All right, I want to try to pick your brain about the scheduling for the boys basketball team, because wasn't St. Joe's like our first game? Because that's the highlight of the year. That's that intensity, and it was early in the season, and there was no build up to it. There wasn't like it was there, the seating position, first or second in the GMCs. So it's kind of lost there.
Well, it's a nice way to open the season. Everybody's going to come out. The seasons are blank. Records are blank. Let's go out and see what we got. And unfortunately, the computer spits out what it spits out, and we are what we are. But Coach Mott and Coach Whalen, they'll play anybody. You have to beat the best to be the best. So that's their motto, and you work hard to try and get all the wins you can.
All right, now girls basketball, Coach Keith Lane. But before we talk about their season, we have to talk about one special athlete there, Alyssa Bondi, on that, because 1,000 points in a high school career is a significant milestone.
Absolutely. It is a tough feat, And she really worked hard. I mean, it's all the hours outside of the gym and outside of the winter season that she was really working on getting her craft right and what she does. She's a great shooter. She's a great leader. And I think one of the most important things coming out of all this is she was excited about her 1,000th point, but she was more excited about her team. She did not want the game to stop for her. She just, quickly cheer after her 1,000th point. They passed the ball in. They kept playing. She wanted to make sure that her team got the win. They moved forward, and after the game, they would celebrate. That just says a lot about her, a lot about the girls on the team. Everybody was head over heels excited for her because she's just done a lot of great things for us and the team and for the girls with her leadership. Her being a couple seniors on the team, so they had a lot of senior leadership with Alyssa, of course, Cammie Anderson, Morgan Brody, Bella Gertaner, Bianca Nakar, and Kayla Newton. So again, even like you talked to the boys, the girls took second place in that JV GMC tournament, so the future is bright. Coach Lane, Coach Retzlaff, looking for good things moving forward.
18-9 record here. What happened in the GMCs? What happened in states there?
So 18-9, again, we play in a very tough division. We're at the top of the division with Piscataway and JP Stevens. We ended up with the 9 seed. Won our first round matchup, and then in the quarterfinals we run into the number 1 seed, the eventual GMC champions of Bishop Bar. But our girls played to the end, from whistle to whistle, ready to go. Gave their best fight in the GMCs, and then after that it was preparing for the state tournament. State tournament, they had a good win early against Monroe, and then had to travel to a very good Montgomery team, and unfortunately losing by a couple points there. But it was tough. You have some leaders on your team, Alyssa Bonney, who was all GMC, and then we had Brianna Slowinski for the Red Division team. Brianna's coming back, and there is a bright future, like I said, with that JV team. So we're excited for what girls basketball has to offer.
All right, let me pick your brains. How many other girls basketball players have scored 1,000 points?
I believe Alyssa was the 7th.
7th, okay.
I believe so. I couldn't rattle them off my head, but they are in the trophy case.
I know there's more girls than boys.
Right.
And I'm trying to think of the last one. Was the last one?
That was last year.
Oh, last year? That's right.
Nicole Johnson.
Nicole Johnson, okay.
Yep.
But before that, it might have been like Katie Whalen / Modaseski.
Could have been maybe Jess Olszewski might have squeezed in there.
Yeah, could be.
You got Katie
back to class of
Modaseski and Whaling, right?
Yeah.
You got Megan O'Neill, Kara Modaseski, and I think there's one I'm missing. Sorry if you're watching if I missed you, but all the balls are in the trophy cases there. But yeah, it's a great feat. It's a great club to be a part of, and that's a great addition to it.
Okay. Well, the cheerleaders, this is their last season. The winter season is their last season. There's obviously the events to cheer for, the basketball, wrestling, but for them, this is where their competitive season really kicks in for them.
Right. So I don't think a lot of people realize that not only are they cheering for basketball games at 7 o'clock 3 days a week, but they are preparing for their competition season. And the competition season for them is really where they get to showcase their talents and their athleticism and all of their hard work. And Coach Olson, Coach Macedo really did a great job with the girls this year. The girls were excited, led by some great seniors: Alexis Ball, Nicole Bernstein, Sophia Montoya, Grace Myers, Sarah Schultz, and Amy Stern. They had a little bit of accolades from them. So they took first place at Woodbridge tournament, first place at the Jackson Liberty tournament, 7th place at States where they had a little mishap, but then came right back at the national tournament in Maryland and took 3rd there. So girls have been excited. They put in a lot of time and effort, and we really appreciate all that they do, keeping cheers positive and the fans into the games. They do an awesome job for us.
I don't think the audience realizes, too, that there's scholarship money.
Absolutely.
For cheerleading. I mean,
Absolutely.
This is not just something that's decorative on the sidelines for the football games at the NCAA level.
Right. With competition cheer, you're looking at gymnastics type items with tumbling, some dance things with their rhythm. It takes a real team effort with your bases and your flyers and all that, getting everything together. So these girls really work hard, and we really do have a great program.
All right, we'll switch now to an indoor sport that's off-site, and that's the swimming teams, both coached by Sean Carney, who is now at the high school. The boys and girls swimming team, again, it seems like there's that one competitor that we just can't overcome. Boys, it happens to be St. Joe's. Girls, often it's either Bishop Bar, now it's Old Bridge.
Old Bridge was very good this year. It was us for 5 years. Everybody was trying to beat us in girls swimming. And then we took a little bit of a step back this year. Bishop Bar stepped right back up on top. And like you said, our boys took 2nd to St. Joe's. I think it's their 41st GMC title. So everybody's gunning to be there. But 2nd place to us is really it's a good spot for us because we know where we belong. It is a great spot there. But like you said, Coach Carney's coaching both the boys and the girls with his assistant Nick Russo. 5-2-1, great record. There's a lot of good swimming in Central Jersey. Hunter and Central, Hillsborough, and unfortunately we ran into Hunter and Central in the state tournament after beating a pretty good team at home in our first round, and then we go and we lose to Hunter and Central, unfortunately, at home, and that ended our season there. But there's a lot of good core swimmers with this group, and they're coming back. One being Ryan Van de Veen, who qualified for the media champions, and he swam there as an underclassman. And the seniors, just again, with their leadership, helping build these teams and the programs. It's tough being off-site every day, getting on a bus, having to come home, do your homework, and our swim team is always very good academically. So it's tough for these kids, and our seniors have really shown the leadership to get the young underclassmen and to teach them that time management and what to do about swimming there. Max Alexev, Albert Chen, George Elgayar, Jacob Snow, Frank Sun, and John Wu were our leaders of the boys. So we can move on to the girls who were the 6-3. Like I said, they were the team to beat in the GMC. Unfortunately, this year took a little bit of a step back, but that's okay because they beat a very good Hightstown team in the state tournament, and then unfortunately lost to their rival Old Bridge, who is seeing a real jump up in their swimming. So there's a lot of good competition again in that red division here in the GMC. We see a lot of competition, and our girls did a great job. And again, they're led by Kashi Chiwala, Taylor McLeod, Ariel Nunez, and Catherine Valentinova.
I mean, you mentioned Central Jersey having a lot of good competitive swimming. Realizing that myself as a parent now of an 11-year-old who's swimming for the Freehold Old Bridge Y team, and then summertime swimming here at Crystal Springs for the Sandpipers, there is a whole lot of really good teams out there. I mean, you see it in the 9- and 10-year-olds, and these are young kids who 4 or 5 years from now are going to be competing at the high school level, and it's just there is an incredible amount of depth in that. So it is a highly competitive, and I've seen that at these meets. I mean, the people are really getting into it. I think more so than I even expected. I didn't think there was that many, but I'm going
out
to
there.
meets. Yeah,
we appreciate you living in town, and your kids are out there working and preparing in the off season for what eventually may be high school swimmers. So these kids put in a lot of work, not just in this winter season of swim, but throughout their entire year. It's a full round activity for some of them.
All right. Every year I ask you this, and I asked Frank Nottenberg this question when we got to this point with him. Winter track, running around outside and competing inside. Yes. I don't understand this. Can you explain this, please?
Sure. So winter track, there's no dual meet season because the weather is so unpredictable and it's so cold. But our kids and our coaches have really bought into, running and putting in the miles and getting better, and they prepare for those invitationals. When we find a nice day, coaches and I will sit down and say, hey, it's supposed to be 45. Let's call Sayreville, let's call Southville, let's call somebody and have them come over, and let's just let our kids compete. We did that 2 times or so this season. We were able to find some good days, but yeah, you're right. These kids buy in, and there's 200 athletes between boys and girls running both inside, outside, in the gyms, in the hallways, preparing themselves for the competition on the weekend. So it takes a lot of guts to be out there in the freezing cold preparing, but they do it. So with our girls' winter track team with Coach Sundberg, it's grueling. They deal with the elements, rain, snow. They're out there. They're told to bring gloves and hats because they're going out to run. And as long as they're safe, our coaches will send them out there. And everything they run is really either in Staten Island, Ocean Breeze, which is a state-of-the-art facility, or right down in Toms River, the Bubble. They'll participate down there in all of our state tournament stuff. So they have some ample opportunity to compete, but like I said, it's a tough sport, and our girls, they were led by seniors Sarah Amer, Jackie Brohl, Kayla Flynn, Rory Keegan, Emily Cavell, and Ashley Sorreo. Now we move to the boys' side. The boys had a little bit more as of the accolades that they can show. They were co-champions of the GMC. Our girls are very well-rounded and have a lot of depth. Our boys have a little bit more of that higher end speed, so they got some other events there. We had some GMC champions in Jake Stocky and Brian McSweeney in the GMCs. We also had Raiden Davies, was a champion at 1600 and the 3200, so he took both distance events, which is awesome for him. Jake was the individual pole vault champion, and Jake and Brian, not only GMC champs, but they were NJSI sectional champions as well in the pole vault. So a lot of accolades flying around there. When we get to the section, Raiden was champion in the 1600. So again, he's competing well, went to the media champions along with Alex G. And Coach told me before I left today, the 4x800 team just maxed a time of 7:55.18 to be the top 15 time in the nation right now in the 4x800.
Wow.
So it's exciting. We're looking for great things for the spring here. And some of these kids just use that running to prepare themselves for the spring season.
And again, a lot of senior leadership here too with them. You got them.
Absolutely. So they are a little larger group, so we got a lot of seniors.
Yeah, that's why I
here.
figured I want to get you.
Robbie
get them all in.
Arpaio, Lucas Blase, Leyland Davies, Raiden Davies, Sajil Dupatla, Victor Federat, Adam Fenn, Ian Goodger, Aston Jones, Jason Kowalik, Sean Kelleher, Nick Minical, Josh Newton, David Roeder, Siddharth, Sneh Shah, and Tyler Lynn. So a nice big group for that leadership and really keep this group together. And
How many of them are going to participate in spring track?
I would say most of them, 90% from winter to spring, absolutely.
Okay. All right, boys and girls bowling. And now again, different out of the East Brunswick realm facility here. If we talk about going to Bolero or somewhere else, both teams. What is it with bowling? We just suddenly picked up a lot of good bowling. I know Amy Brame, one of the coaches, I had her as a student years ago. I know she was part of a state champion or an individual champion in bowling many years ago as part of the East Brunswick team. Aside from that love of bowling, what is this with bowling now all of a sudden with East Brunswick?
That's a great question. I mean, it takes a lot of skill and that repetitive muscle memory and them really understanding the lanes, and it's small inches, to where you have to be for that strike and a spare. And our kids really put in a lot of time over at Bolero. It's right around the corner. They really work hard, and I give the parents a lot of credit. They're bringing them there on the weekends, during the week. Whenever we can't practice, they're taking them. They have their private lessons. So, with Coach Spieshak and with the boys and Coach Brem with the girls, they really give them some individualized attention, and these kids have bought in, and it is exciting. You got to get over to Bolero, Majestic Lanes, or Woodbridge when they're competing and watch a bowling match. It is really exciting. The kids get into it. The fans are into it, and I really enjoy going and seeing that. So this year, the girls actually took the spotlight. Usually it's been the boys the last couple of years. But the boys were 11-4-2, and the only reason we're saying they're out of the spotlight is because they weren't state champions this year. But they're still very good up atop of that red division, atop of the GMC. Unfortunately, didn't win it this year. But they're led by Dan Lenk, who last year led the nation in bowling average, who came back this year. And Michael Bobash, another senior, really pushed these kids to work hard. And, the Central Jersey, Red Division bowling, some of the top bowling in the state. You'll see us, South Brunswick, Woodbridge, Monroe. There's just so many good schools that we just battle with every day. It makes us better and better as we move on. If you go to girls, the girls were 13-2-2. Freshman Mackenzie Keene was a GMC champ, sectional champ, and the team were sectional champions. So great feat by the girls. Not sure the last time that happened. I know you said Coach Brem was. I'll have to talk to her. But again, very exciting for us, very exciting for the sport of bowling. For our girls, with a freshman being a GMC champ, the future is bright. Unfortunately, we lose Alicia McLaughlin, our lone senior. Again, like I said, future is bright. We'll miss her, but she has given a lot to these girls about leadership.
Okay, now we move back to our own building and a sport that you have a lot of familiarity with wrestling. Not exactly, again, a great year here, but again, a learning process perhaps along, the curve upward.
Absolutely. So this year, Coach Monzo, first year on the staff. Coach Pazinko stepped down last year to be with his family. And we were able to get Coach Monzo on staff, who I think has done an outstanding job with this group. 6-16 record. It doesn't sound great, but our kids competed day in and day out when they stepped down on the mat. I may be a little biased. I think it's one of the toughest individual competitive sports just because it's one-on-one on the mat, nobody for excuses except for yourself. You go out there, you give your best, and it's tough and it's grueling and practices aren't fun. You're not shooting hoops. You're not learning strategy. You are battling day in and day out with your partner to try and make each other better. So it's a tough sport, but we did have some great accolades this year, a lot of good things to talk about as well. District champion Christian Perrine. We had two wrestlers move on to the region tournament, so that's Christian Perrine and Youssef Gamel. We also had one female in the first ever NJSIA region tournament, Kaylee Duffy. She was a freshman. She unfortunately just narrowly missed going to Atlantic City. She took 4th place. They took the top 3 in every weight class. That was exciting. With the boys portion of it, Youssef Gamel was able to get out of the region, took 4th place to wrestle in Atlantic City, which is this past weekend. Did an outstanding job there and ended up as a top 24 wrestler at the 220-pound weight class. So it takes a lot. It is grueling season, but you could see these 3 athletes really put it in there, and everybody on the team does a great job. And I'll put a plug for wrestling. It'll put you in the best shape of your life. We're trying to get as many people out there as we can, and it's exciting. We'd love to see some more people out there.
Girls, were they permitted to wrestle with the boys prior to this?
Absolutely. So it was a co-ed sport forever. It was co-ed. This year, and there are different girl divisions in different states. This was the first year that New Jersey is recognizing their own girls' brackets. So there were girls-only brackets. We had 2 females on our team this year, Anushka Karate and Kaylee Duffy, which I mentioned. They both wrestled in that region tournament. Both gave us great efforts. We're hoping that this picks up steam. We can get some more girls involved. But yeah, it was an awesome event down in Atlantic City. The pure joy and just.
But is that going to cause now any girl who is really good and wants to wrestle against the boys? Can they still wrestle against the boys?
At this time, yes, they can. They can choose either they want to go into the boys' districts or the girls' regions, and that's on them. Whatever they choose, that's the trail that they can take there. But again, this is another group, but a lot of seniors. So unfortunately, we'll be missing them, Christian being one of them. So Tristano Di Liberto, Anthony Fullwider, Louis LaRocca, Nader Lachine, Luis Nieves, Tom Tartar, Lucas Vidal, and like I said, Christian Perrine. We have Youssef Gamel coming back, who was our state top 24 guy. But it was an awesome season, and if I could take a minute to just talk, we preach about sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is huge in any of the sports that we participate in. And Christian Perrine, Jess Monzo, and South River got together and really put on a great display of sportsmanship, where South River had an autistic student who was their manager, who's always wanted to wrestle through his years with the program, and Christian wrestled him in a match over at South River this year, and they really put on a nice show. This young man, Eric Janicki, beat Christian. There was the fans were there. It was their senior night. It was exciting, and Christian was just a class actor the entire time. Shook hands, wrestled with the kid, gave him a real experience out on the mat, and he's a district champion wrestling on the mat, and really was able to kind of swallow back and give somebody the excitement that he was able to see through his career. He wanted to give this back, and he did a great job with Coach Monzo and Christian. It was awesome. And you have rivalries. South River East Brunswick rivalry in wrestling is huge. So to see the 2 towns come together and really have a great event like that, it was special and exciting. So I was glad to be a part of that, and I'm sure Christian was as well. So we thank them.
The rivalries you mentioned, it is, we've obviously we have an established high school. We have the communities around us. Is the rivalry as strong, the rivalries as strong as they were when you were competing in all the sports, not just wrestling, but in all the sports? Or have the students lost a sense of school spirit? We go through these spirit weeks, one in the fall and the one coming up in the middle of March here in a couple of weeks. And I don't know. I want to say that the level of spirit, and I've been working. This is my 25th year in East Brunswick. I've seen practically everything in terms of sports in the last 25 years. Is the rivalry there? I mean, I know the St. Joe's. That's a separate animal. The basketball, the St. Joe's, right, or the volleyball, St. Joe's. Mm-hmm. But is it the same? Do you sense that? Standing back there now as athletics director, you're walking around, you're going to the events. Is there a sense of rivalry from the athletes to the fans to the school?
I think there is. It's different now. Now, like you said, when I was in high school, what was it, 19 years ago now, graduated in 2000, there weren't as many club teams out there. Now you're seeing all of our surrounding towns are playing on these club teams, and the kids are playing together. So they're friends with a lot of the kids on those teams. So the rivalry is there. I think the competitive nature is there. You may not see it with the crowds and things like that, but I think the competitive nature of the sports and moving forward and the kids knowing each other, really putting on a show. The competitive nature is still there, but you're right. I don't see as many fans in the bleachers, the kids coming out to games. We wish we could get more of that. And coming out to all sports, go to a swim meet, go to a bowling match, go to a wrestling match. It's not just the boys and girls basketball. Get out there and really go out and see soccer, see lacrosse. We want our kids to be well-rounded. We want their friends to watch them compete, because we do have some really talented kids out there. and they'll go off and participate in college. And it would be great for their teammates to come out and see them.
Well, one thing I noticed about the spring schedule, because we're looking forward to broadcasting the spring games here, is some of the games now are coming earlier, which I think might help. Instead of having a game at 5 and then the varsity at 7, moving the games up to maybe 4 and 5:30, or putting the varsity first as opposed to the JVs, that you might see that because students don't have to go home and come back. They can stick around, they can hang out, they can get some food after school, kind of do their work, go to a club activity, and then come out and see the games.
Yeah, we're trying anything we can to make it as exciting as we move forward. And you're right, a lot of 4 o'clock games, a lot of those things are early, so come on out, come visit, come see the kids. We got great competition, great competitors. Like I said, we're in the red division. There are always going to be great games. So come out, see the kids. And if you're watching this and you're a student, we'd love to see you out there as well.
Let's look at the spring sports season. I guess you're just thrilled the fact that pretty much, if you look at the weather forecast, that we are through with winter weather, at least not the cold and potential for sleet and snow and everything. And whatever was there last week is melting off right now. From your standpoint, that must be great because those coaches can really get out there and practice hard for. When can they start the spring practice schedule?
March 1st. March 1st, they were able to get out there, and unfortunately, that was the first weekend of our snowstorm that left us blanketed on our turf fields. So thankfully, we have turf fields, and we can get out there sooner. We have to worry about the mud and the dirt, but we do have to worry about the snow melting getting out there. So all teams were able to get out there. Softball's even using some of the turfs. We got baseball out there. They share with the 2 lacrosse teams. Our track teams have been running. So we are thankful. We're starting to get a little stir-crazy inside. It's time to get outside, let the sun get on the skin a little bit, warm up the bodies, and really enjoy the spring.
And when are the first games, the first live games
So we'll
start?
see lacrosse starts March 27th, and then all of our other sports will be April 1st. So check our schedule. It's right on the website there. You can go scroll down after you click athletics. It'll say schedule of our events. Check it out. If you can make it out there, we'd love to see you.
All right. So we'd like to thank the EBTV technical crew. As we said, we're going to be broadcasting games in the spring, so check your schedule there. We're covering lacrosse, covering volleyball. Still want to get baseball in there, Dave. We're still trying to get the baseball games going, but just a little plug there to get a crew out there for the baseball. But again, it's an opportunity for you to come out and support East Brunswick High School athletics. These student athletes are putting their heart and soul into this, and for you to come out and cheer, stop by the athletic fields. I guess all the spring sports are free, right?
That's it.
All the spring sports are free, so you can come out and enjoy it. And again, we thank the EBTV technical crew for over 30 years of service to high school athletics in East Brunswick, broadcasting the games back to you. And that's, again, a compliment to the longstanding support we get from the municipal government here with EBTV. So for Chris Yannazzo, I'm Ken Saroka. Thank you for watching Sports Talk. We'll see you out on the fields in the spring.